Okay, we're ready to move on. And the last video I showed you guys, we did all the drilling. So we got all of the windows ready to drill, and we're going to be putting fiber optics in, and that's how all the windows are going to be lit. We did the secondary hull as well. Hopefully you guys can see the windows. So what we're going to do now is I wanted to show you guys, we actually got all the pieces ready for the ship. Because I want to light the Bussard collectors, we're going to be doing the production version for the nacelles. And because this kit has so many different parts to choose from for the different production versions, we actually had 8 pieces for the nacelles. So you got to go in, match them up, and we're going to do the production series. You can tell that one because it's got the little grills on the inner chiller grills. Hopefully you can see the detail. Because the other one the other two do not have the little grills on the inside for the chiller grills. And the outsides have the coolers on the back as well as the grill, and it's got that marking underneath. So we got the nacelles all set. We got the primary hull. We're going to go with the taller bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to mask off the bridge area, and then we'll prime it. We have the pieces that we're going to use. See, this is for the first pilot. We're actually going to use, let me show you guys. We're going to use this section that's going to go above the impulse deck. And as far as the impulse engines, you can see them right there. It's not going to be easy to light these, so I think we're going to use the decals on this. And for the ends of the nacelles, we're actually going to use the production version. We're going to paint these gray, darker gray, and we're going to have the domes coming out of the centers of them. Now when it comes to the deflector dish, they have 2 options. They've got the smaller one, and the larger one actually came off the tree. Oh, here it is. They got the larger one. Now, remember, this is the U.S.S. Nimoy. So this is my tribute ship to Leonard Nimoy. So I'm actually going to use the larger deflector dish just because I like the way it looks. I think it looks better. We got the deflector dish housing ready to go, and we have the nacelle pylons. Now when it comes to the nacelle pylons, I'm thinking what I want to do is we're going to have to prep these as well before we prime them. We have the base, and I'm thinking if we run wires down either side through the base, and this will be sitting on something. I have to make something on like a wooden box or something, but this is going to rest on something. So I think we can get everything planned for the ship itself. We have the section of all the coolers, the intercoolers that are going to go on in the nacelles, and we're going to be using these. And as we go along, we can paint these. We're going to keep them on a tree. It'll be easier for them to paint. So right now, we've got everything ready to go for the model kit, for all the pieces are assembled. What we have to do now is we actually have to get them ready for painting. So we got to prepare the pieces. And first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to prime them first before painting. But there's a couple of sections that I want to get prepared. We're going to paint the base, the stand. We're going to paint this separately before we put it on. And I think we're going to paint the impulse engine separately. So when it comes to the top of the primary hull, you can see the only thing we need to do is we're going to mask off the round section, just so the bridge will be nice and so it'll light up, and we're going to put that white. So that's going to be masked. We don't really have to mask anything on the bottom. We don't really have to mask anything on the secondary hull. We don't really have to mask anything on the deflector dish housing. What we can do is we can start assembling the pieces, though, that need to be assembled. So you can see the deflector dish. I'm thinking, let me show you guys how it's going to go really quick. It's not hard. It's going to go like that. And I think that looks good. I like the larger version better. So let's go ahead and we're going to remove this piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue the larger deflector dish section on. And what we can do with this is we're going to put that gold, copper, kind of brass type of color to make it kind of like reflective. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to actually glue the section on, and that'll be quick. We can do this right now, because then it'll be ready to paint and actually put on. And there's a little raised area that goes around, so let's put a little bit of glue on there. Not a lot. And like I said, we're going to use the larger deflector dish. It's going to go just like that, and it clicks into place. Very, very simple. So I just want to make sure it's straight. So that looks pretty good. So that's ready to paint. So we can actually paint that. When it comes to the other halves that we need to glue, we're not going to glue this yet. We're going to actually take it apart to paint. We're going to paint the nacelles, the nacelle caps separate. We're going to do the we'll do the shuttle bay. We'll do that separate. It'll be easier. And we're going to do the base separate, as well as the impulse, the thing that goes over the impulse decks. We're going to do this as well, but we're going to do this separate. What I want to do is, this is going to be black, and eventually we're going to do this in gold, this insignia, and where the arm is going to go is going to be black as well. Okay, so we got it all planned out. So why don't we think about the nacelle pylons themselves, because we're going to have lights in the nacelles. Let me show you my plans again. Remember, when it comes to the nacelles, I want to put the lights on the top, just like the refit looks. And I also want to put the strobes at the end. Let's see, did I forget to put, I want to put the strobes at the ends of the nacelles. We're going to have to run fiber optic for that. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, though. It might just be fiber optic there. It might not actually be a strobe, only because we're going to have to get the wires through this, as well as getting the fiber optics, and that just might not be feasible. So remember, we have to do a positive and a negative for either side. They're going to come down from the nacelles and go into the secondary hull, and it's actually going to be the power supply. I'm thinking we have to actually channel, if we channel it out through the bottom. Okay, see how thin the wire that I want to use? So this has to go on the inside, and we're going to need 2 of them. So why don't we, just for demonstration, let's use the blue and the green. So these need to go up through a hole that we're going to put at the bottom. They're going to come up through and they're going to go into a channel. And these are going to power the nacelles. And we're going to do that before we close it up. Okay, this is going to be the bottom section. And it's going to go like this. We need to put 2 holes, one on either side, so we can run the positive and the negative leads up into each pylon. So we're going to go right at the base. I'm going to go right about there. And I think we're going to need a little bit bigger drill bit. So this might work nicely. So what I want to do is right in the center, right about there, we're going to run the wires up and we're going to go through the nacelle pylon. But we got to make sure not to go out the side, so I want to go just like this. Right about there. See, right about there. You don't want to go into the area that's going up, because that's where the it's going to be seen. So it's going to come right up to about there where the hull is going to meet. So we don't want to go too far. So let's do the other side. Just like that. So now we're going to have the holes or the openings for the wires to come up and feed the nacelles. And these are going to go just like that. So you can tell how it's going to go because there are little pins that are going to go right into the bottom like that. And that's how this is going to attach to the nacelle. And then it'll clip into place. So what we got to do now is we have to put a little channel in to be able to, like a little groove for the wires. And that might be a little more tricky. I just want to do something ever so slightly, but I got to follow the line where the wires are going to come from. All right, now we're going to have a little something to guide us. See how we're starting to channel just a little bit? I'm actually using the screwdriver now, and we're actually going to make that channel where we can put the wires through. We're going to make sure it's all the way, the whole length. Yeah, that's starting to take shape. See what I mean? See how the wire is going to have that little channel to rest in? There. That looks pretty good. The wires are going to go up and we can clamp it and glue everything into place. So I want to just make sure that they're deep enough on both sides. So hopefully you guys can see that. So we're going to put, well, first of all, we got to designate the wires. So because we have a lot of the blue and we have a lot of the green, we're going to designate these wires the leads. Just like that. All right, so why don't we cut these? I'd rather have way too much than not enough. We're going to have this section. You see how this is going to go right into the channel. Just like that. And we have to have enough. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and clamp this for now. just like this, we'll clamp this section just to keep it in place. So we're going to have the section coming out for the leads in the bottom, and then we're going to come across and we're going to do the same thing for the other side. See how it's going to go right into the little channel? So let's go ahead, and I want to clamp that one as well. And we're going to have the areas on the bottom. And what I want to do is we're going to clamp again. I'm going to clamp these wires, because what I want to do is I want to keep everything in place. There. And now we can think about, I want to put just a drop of the glue, because I want to keep the wires in place, at least through the centers of the nacelle pylons. So we're going to put just a drop on either side. And it's going to run down just like that. So what I want to do now is we got to think about putting this section on. So this is going to go like this, down at this area first. So let's take this clamp off. This is going to go like this. But before we do that, we got to put a little notch so the wires can come out and go into the nacelle pylon. So let's get the little trimmers back. We're going to cut it, but we got to keep some of it just because the wires are going to go through, but we're going to actually need a guide for the nacelles to attach to the nacelle pylon. So okay, this will be pretty good. See now how we can have the wires go up through that? And not too much, just enough. And we'll do the same thing on this side before we clamp it and glue it into place. I'm just going to go right, cut that area. Perfect. All right, now we'll take this section again, and we're going to put more glue. Let's see, let's just make sure that, where are my tweezers? See, we want to keep it like that. So we're going to put some more glue on the edges now. And we're going to put this piece on. And there's a little peg that's going to go in the bottom over here. That'll let you know that it's in the right place. So we're going to go ahead and clamp this now. So I want to come over to the other side. And we're going to do the same thing. We've got to run some glue down into the center. Just like that. You can see how the wires are going to come up through. So what I want to do is I want to clamp this section. So we can let the wires, we can unclamp them on the bottom. And what I want to do now is we can actually clip it into place like that. See how that looks now? All right. So we'll putty the edges, and we'll make it nice and smooth when everything is nice and dry. But we got the nacelle pylons ready now, so we're going to have the leads going to the secondary hull. We're going to have the leads, the positive and a negative, coming out of each nacelle pylon. So I think what we should do right now is we're going to put it in our plans. Let me put that over there for a second, because we want to keep track of everything, and the worst thing that could happen is we got everything together and we don't know which is which for the wire leads. So we're going to put, okay, we got green and we got blue. So we'll designate the blue, the negative, and the green will be the positive. Now it doesn't really matter, you just have to keep track of all the colors because we have a surplus of green and blue for the small wire. So that's what we're going to use throughout the ship now. We're going to designate the green wire is going to be the positive and the blue wire is going to be the negative. So when it comes to this video, I think this is pretty much all set. We're ready to move on. We have the parts of the ship ready to go. We got all the windows drilled out. We've got the parts of the ship designated for the nacelles. We got the end caps, the Bassard collectors all ready to go. We did the deflector dish. We got the deflector dish housing, and we actually have the nacelle pylons clamped, glued, and wired and ready to go. So my friends, in the next video, we're actually going to prime and we're going to paint the U.S.S. Nimoy. So she's going to really start to come together. So my friends, thank you for watching, and until my next video, I'll talk to you guys really soon.